Good morning, sweethearts. Happy Saturday. How y'all doing? Mercury goes station's retrograde today for the next 3 weeks. Don't be surprised if your electronics freeze, if they act up, they don't work right, they shut down. Same with your vehicles. These energies are amplifying that aspect of Mercury retrograde even more so. As good morning, Jenny. How you doing? Big hugs and blessings, sweetheart. Good morning, Julie. You will, if you observe, sweet one, you will notice as time speeds up, it becomes more and more obvious of the splitting of the timelines, or if you will. Good morning, Nara. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Helena. Big hugs and blessings. You're seeing it more and more in your observations in your physical dwellings, in your physical spaces. You're seeing it more, especially more and more on social media. Good morning, Carla. Good morning, Amar. Good morning, Anna Marie. Big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. As time continues to speed up, sweet ones, going up into the total solar eclipse into September, these timelines are going to continue to collapse, if you will. More and more physical death is going to become prevalent, and it is really helpful, sweet ones, when this occurs in your presence, to really allow yourselves to go through that grieving process, and yet also keep in your heart knowing that they are transitioning, and honor their soul's choices. Many of you are finding your pets are transitioning, and you're coming into a space of very heartfelt grief, and it's important to allow yourselves to go through that grieving process, sweet ones. Good morning, John. Good morning, Nando. Good morning, Makey. Big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. As time continues to speed up, and the separation of these timelines and these worlds, the two grids, if you will, continue, you will discover, if you allow yourselves to observe, that you are leaving the duality, the contrast, and the polarity. In the higher frequencies, the more you evolve and rise to, sweet ones, the more those lower frequencies no longer exist in your observations, in your perceptions. Good morning, Amy. Big hugs and blessings, beautiful. There is no evil, sweet ones. There is no enemies. All of those things exist in the lower frequencies in the 3D grid. To awaken to who and what you are, the higher in frequency you go, it becomes a choice, sweet ones, to participate in that evilness, to participate in what you seemingly label enemies. It is a conscious choice to participate in those lower frequencies, to continue to allow yourselves to think, to perceive, to observe, and to participate in duality, separation, and contrast. Does it exist in the outside physical world? Absolutely it does. However, the higher in frequency you allow yourselves to rise to, excuse me, those frequencies of those lower timelines falls away. You become in the world, you become of the world, but not necessarily in it. When you walk the middle path is being in the world, accepting both light and dark, and not seeing the contrast, if you will. The higher in frequency you go, the outside world will reflect it. The 5D grid, sweet ones, to live in that reality is a choice in every given breath and in every given moment. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Zedeca. Good morning, Amy. Did I say good morning to you? Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. And so, as we go into this total solar eclipse, we have 9 days till it occurs. You are being asked to allow the contrast, the separation, the duality to fall away from you. Now, to continue to sit there and say, you know, Spirit is guiding me that we live in a reality of duality, that there is good and evil. Spirit will never guide you on your spiritual journey, sweet ones. Spirit will guide you to leave duality, contrast, and separation away. Spirit will guide you and show you that it does not exist, that it is a perception of the frequency you hold within. If you continue to see evilness, if you continue to see that contrast, that's because it's within here. You hold it within that frequency. Does corruption exist? Does all that exist? Absolutely, in the lower dimensional frequencies. However, the higher in frequency you rise to, that stuff no longer comes into your physical presence. Not on social media, and not in the actual physical reality that you exist in on this physical plane. Good morning, Stacy. And you will discover the higher in frequency you go, the more inner work you do to release that duality, polarity, and contrast, the more it no longer resonates with you. No matter how awakened or unawakened you are, even those that are asleep, that come to you, that are guided to you, even if they have no idea why. It is not to sit there giving you the opportunity to participate in that again. Can you guide them? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that evil exists, that they are your enemy, that love is, sweet ones. Good morning, Rhonda. Big hugs and blessings, beautiful. In love, there is no evilness. There is no enemies. There is no contrast. You are accepting of all of it, and you see love in all of it. To sit there and say, the more we awaken, we have to accept that there is duality, good and bad, right and wrong, positive, negative, is an error in consciousness. The most mature souls on this journey understand that all is perception. And if you are experiencing any of those lower frequency observations, it is because there is a space within you that still holds those energies. Everything you see in the outside physical world, whether it is the corruption, whether it is the evilness, if you will, whether it is pedophilia, whether it is murder, whatever it may be. Good morning, Betty. Good morning, Donna. Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. Whatever it may be, you come to a space where all you see is love. You don't see the evilness. You don't see, you observe it for what it is and see it for what it can be. And that's that. If you have to see, if you have to label something, that's the difference, if you will. Does it exist for those that are just awakening? Yes, it does, as they go through their healing processes. But do we sit there and we encourage them to continue living in right and wrong, good and evil, positive, negative? No. We show them to stay in here, because in here is where you create what happens in the outside physical world. And as you continue forward and you actually observe from here to step back, you will see just how the timelines are really presenting themselves. Now, it's also helpful to understand that the closer we get to this total solar eclipse, this total reset, if you will again be able to observe just how these timelines are collapsing, and observe how everyone around you, the frequencies they are residing at and where they're at, and you're going to find people are going to fall away, and you are going to choose to walk away. And that's okay. Honor that process, sweet ones. Allow the contrast, duality, and polarity to fall away. Our natural state of being, we hear no evil, we see no evil, we speak no evil. Does that mean it does not exist? Of course it exists on the lower frequencies, but we no longer reside on those lower frequencies, sweet ones, unless you choose to engage in it. Now, it's also helpful to understand that there is a difference between light workers and starseeds, that they each have different missions. It's also helpful to understand, just because some of us have certain missions and you don't resonate with those missions, doesn't make us your enemy, doesn't make us not living in the real world, if you will. If you have to continue to give definition to something being real, it is showing you a space within you. Everything in the outside world, whether we want to accept it or not, sweethearts, is an energy frequency held within us. Pedophilia, corruption, murder, rape, abuse, all of those things are a frequency. And when you find that frequency space within you, because at some point in your existence in this 3D matrix grid, whether it was in this lifetime or whether it was in a past lifetime, it has an imprinted energy signature within your cellular memory DNA. And even if you were not a pedophile in a past life, or a murderer, or a rapist, and even though you have never maybe experienced abuse or anything like that in this lifetime, the reason you are observing it in the outside world is because it is held within the cellular memory of your DNA. That is why we continue to tell you, perception is self-reflection. What you see in the outside world, what you see in another, exists within you. Now, does that mean to say that you participate in those things, and that's why you participated in those things, and that's why it is in your observation? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there is an energetic imprint in your cellular DNA that is asking you to transform that energy. Everything in this world, whether it wants to be accepted or not, is energy. And Rhonda asks, how do you figure out what your mission is? Rhonda, the more you go within, the more your purpose and your mission becomes clear. The overall mission for anyone is to love you back to love. To love yourself out of the duality, the contrast, and the separation. That is first and foremost every single one of yours purposes here. Because through you healing that, through you healing those energetic spaces within you, that is how the outside world reflects it. So as you heal it within here, you observe, say, a couple fighting, an abusiveness. If you go within and you be present and you find that space within you and you transform that energy, it's going to reflect out in the outside world, and you will find, once you heal it, neutralize, harmonize it back to 0 point within you, it no longer will present itself to you in the physical. And you will no longer run across that until somebody physically brings it back into your perception. Whether that is because they're going through it and they come to you for guidance on how to transcend it or whatever it is. But if somebody is guided to you with those issues, it is due to you still hold somewhere within you an energetic imprint. And it is giving you an opportunity to transcend it. Let me see what I missed here, sweet ones. How can we best love and help our children and grandchildren at this time? Your children and your grandchildren are at a higher frequency. It's helpful to understand that children are being born without the veils. Any child born after 2010 especially. And if you allow yourselves to be present with your children, your grandchildren, and step back from the emotional attachments of them being your children and your grandchildren, if you observe them when they are in playtime with others, if you observe, you hear the saying often that, what is that saying? What comes out of the mouth of babes, I think it is, or similar to that. If you observe what they say, and for the most part, we sit there and we chuckle and this and that, and about some of the things that children say, because it's just so astounding. But if you allow yourself to really observe, they are showing you something. They are giving you a message. They are conveying to you something that you are not observing or seeing. Alfred asks, how do we transcend the things being presented? By going within. Divine love has no opinion, has no judgment, has no reaction. Alfred, when you are presented with something, all right, you go play with your toy over in the other room, please. Thank you. When you are presented with something, let me give you an example. Like last night, I had this gentleman that lives here around Kempner somewhere, and he sent me a friend request, and I friended him, and he messaged me and he asked me something about, I don't know, whatever I do, something I had posted, I don't remember. And he went on to say that I'm a freak. That it's people like me that ruin Facebook for a political gain. Now, where he got the political gain from, I have no idea. But when you can observe what is being presented to you, to me, that shows, we are presented with opportunity in every given moment by what we're presented. Now, for me, I could have reacted to that guy, and I could have went into a defensive space and tried to defend myself. And instead, I just said, the truth will reveal itself to you. I bless you. I'm grateful for you coming into my presence. Have a nice evening. So, to transcend anything is to see it for what it is and know it for what it can be. Was that a lower vibrational frequency with that gentleman? Absolutely. He was fully unawakened. He sat there and started preaching to me about God and everything else. And then I'm a freak. Because I believe God dwells within us as us. And that's okay. When you don't react and you stop and you go within and you say, okay, Spirit, what do I need to see from this? What are you showing me? And sometimes, Alfred, what we're presented with is just to see if we're going to stand in our truth and stand in our power. To transcend anything, to transform it, to heal it, you have to do it from within here. You don't do it from the physical world. If you do not like what you see in the physical world, if you do not like the fact that your grandchildren are throwing a tantrum, go within to your inner child. Find that space within you. And you will find, okay, when you observe, again, say your grandchildren are throwing a tantrum. They're throwing a tantrum. Everything is a reflection. Every being, whether it is your lover, whether it is your seemingly enemy, whether it is your children or your grandchildren, are playing a role for you. They are there showing you an energetic space within you if you allow yourself to see beyond what the physical is presenting. Let's see here. Alson said yesterday poverty was being presented back to me in the physical. I have letting it go, letting that story that I tell myself that's not the truth of who I am now. Absolutely, and that's what it is. When things are presented for you, observe it rather than react to it. Right now, you're going to find, sweet ones, the more these timelines collapses, the more you allow the world of polarity, duality, and separation and contrast go. The more you are going to have, the higher in frequency you go, the deeper into the abyss, if you will, you go. The more light you take in, the more you are going to attract those lower vibrational frequencies to you. And for lack of a better way of saying it, you're going to be tested to see if you're going to fall right back into that lower vibrational frequency, to see if you're going to continue to see good and bad, good and evil, positive, negative, whatever it may be. We don't help the world by sitting there saying, yep, there is good and evil. Because that is engaging in that same frequency and continues to allow that frequency to be created. Let's see what I'm missing. Betty says, how can we best love and help our children? To be present with them. You know what, Betty? If your grandchildren and your children are experiencing the intensity of these frequencies, I would really encourage you to be present with them and teach them how to breathe. Teach them about energy. Teach them how to transcend it within themselves. Teach them how to meditate. That is the best thing we can do for our children. When they get antsy, whatever it may be, encourage them to dance, draw, paint, participate in music. Encourage them to bring out those gifts that they hold within, because they hold very high vibrational energies. And it is only us as the adults, if you will, that are here to guide them. Not here to tell them how to be, how to live, but to guide them into being all that they are, because they are already in that space of all that they are. We are returning to our innocence. We are returning to our purity. And the higher in frequency you go to, and the more you return to your innocence, the more everything becomes childlike, including the outside observation of the world. Children don't see evil. They are taught evil. Children don't see duality, contrast, separation. They are taught that. What did I miss here? Michelle says recently had that experience of a past life rise to consciousness. And yes, I know it came up to be healed. It was rather baffling. Absolutely, Michelle. At times it really, truly is. Alfred, did I answer your question, sweet one? Good morning, Phaedra. Good morning, Lizette. Good morning, Cal. Big, big hugs and blessings, sweet ones. So as we go forward for the next 9 days, again, this is a roller coaster ride, sweet ones. You're going to find you're hearing many voices, and oftentimes it is confused that Spirit is divinely guiding you to participate in duality and contrast and separation. That Spirit is guiding you to see good and evil. Spirit will never guide you to see good and evil. Spirit will always guide you to transcend it. You're also going to find that when you think you're connected to the divine and the angels and everything else, that it's actually, if you step back and observe it, Spirit will never ask you to participate. Spirit will never come at you in a negative connotation. Spirit will never ask you to participate in duality. But you're also, remember, you are leaving the mind programming, and you will attract those, even from the higher realms, that will come at you and show you that you are convinced you're talking to the divine, that you're connecting to Spirit, and really you're connecting to them. And that is where discernment really comes in, and why it is so necessary to ground. Because again, as we leave the old behind, as we allow this 3D false matrix to drop from your realities, from your physical realities, from your observations, from anything out of your, I said that wrong, let me step back a sec. It will fall away from the energy resonation within yourself, if you will. Linda, am I journaling? Do you mean channeling, honey? No, I don't channel. For those that call themselves channelers, for those that channel, they're just hearing higher frequency aspects of themselves. I've never considered myself a channel because I don't channel myself. I'm merged with myself. Is that what you were meaning, Alson? And as you, and back to, am I writing? Do I write in a journal? Do I keep a journal? Absolutely, yes I do. I'm not sure the question you're asking me, sweetheart. Back to what I was saying about the splitting of these worlds. So right now, you literally have beings coming at you, trying to get you to continue participating in duality and contrast and separation. And those voices in your head will convince you that it's Spirit, that it's your angels around you, when in all reality, it's not. Again, Spirit will never guide you to participate in duality, separation, and contrast. Especially those on the spiritual journey, on the awakening journey. The higher in frequency you go, you leave that behind. Even if we are guides, even if we are here transcending that, again, Spirit don't work in those lower vibrational frequencies, and will never guide you to work in those lower vibrational frequencies. We're not here to promote ourselves. Spirit don't need promotion. Spirit don't need acknowledgement. Anybody that you need to guide, or needs your guidance, or you need their guidance, you will be guided to them, and they will be guided to you. Tammy says, that message about channeling really resonates with me. No thing is outside of me, no separation within or without. And that is absolutely correct, Tammy. There's no correct or incorrect. All of a sudden, yes, are you writing in a journal? I feel I need to do this as it will help make sense of this time. All of a sudden, it really will. Sweet ones, I really encourage you to keep a dream journal, or just a journal in general. Because in your dream time, you're collapsing timelines. You're converging and merging timelines. And you are given, the human mind will only remember the bigger picture, if you will. If you're in meditation and you're given symbols, if you're given messages, if you're given visions, just like with your dream time, if you write it down, especially in your dream time, right after you wake up, if you write it down and remember as much as you can of that, you will discover that it's going to benefit you on your path ahead. And auto writing also is very, very helpful when you allow yourselves to auto write. And for those who are not sure what auto writing is, set a timer for 20 minutes. Allow yourselves to write down whatever comes into your head, whether it's angry thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts, indifferent thoughts. It don't matter whether they're scattered or whether they're categoried. If you just allow yourself to write and not think about it, you will find, and at the end of 20 minutes, put your pen down. Don't read what you have written. Set it aside. Put it in the freezer to freeze that energy. Set it aside for 3 days. And then go back and read it. You will discover many answers that yourself, that spirit, has given you within that auto writing. The more you do that, you will discover that your spirit, yourself, will take over writing for you. The pen will just go. And that is one of the best tools you can use to really see and hear that which you're not sure about. Say again, what would you like me to repeat, Alfred? Sweetheart, excuse me. What did I say? It's good to hear someone say channels are accessing. Not many people know. Very helpful advice. Awesome. The journaling in your dream time. When you wake up, you remember, the human aspect has a tendency, Alfred, to remember the bigger picture, if you will. Not the minute details. And so, if you allow yourself, like when you first wake up from a dream, or maybe it was a seemingly nightmare to you, if you can write down the minute details, by doing so, when you go back and you read it, you then imprint it into your consciousness, not just your subconsciousness. And it will help you see that which has been unseen. Because it's those minute details that we forget. You know, you can remember your dream, say a month, 5 months down the road. But you're gonna remember the overall gist of it. But you're not gonna maybe remember that green triangle symbol in the background that now plays a big part in what you're experiencing in the moment. And that's why I encourage you to write down the minute details, as many as you can remember. The same goes for your meditation. When you come out of meditation, or, you know, maybe you're driving down the road and all of a sudden a symbol appears to you, or, you know, maybe you're getting a vision. If you allow yourself to write down the minute details, you're going to find they're pieces to a puzzle. Because, sweet ones, your whole journey is a puzzle. And through every experience, it is either triggering a memory that has a hidden piece in there, or you're being given a new piece, if you will. Your journey is taking and I'm not saying that, you know, the number I'm going to use here is just an example. It's not literal, if you will. Look at it like this. You have 1,000 little puzzles that you have to put together. And you complete one little puzzle, and then it connects to the next little puzzle. And pretty soon, you come to where every little puzzle, made up of 100 little pieces that's complete, is one piece to a great big puzzle. It's a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream, if you will. Every being you see outside of you is a role. Because every being outside of you, let's look at it this way. There's 7.8 billion souls on this earth, right? And we all say that you are the universe and the universe is in you, and that every being that you, every good, bad, evil, positive, negative, indifferent experience that you observe in this world, even though it is presented to you as everybody else. Well, how can 7.8 billion souls on this earth be me, if you will? Because every single billion soul on this earth right now is playing a role for you. Now, are you going to cross the path of every single one of those 7.8 billion souls? No. But the ones that do cross your path, say in your lifetime that animals too, absolutely, Mickey. Animals, trees, plants, they all play a role for you. Say only 1 million out of those 7.8 billion souls cross your path, whether that's through social media, in your physical presence, whether it's your family, your lovers, whatever it may be, okay? Well, if I only cross paths with 1 million, Linda, what about all the other billions? All those other billions are backdrop. They're just there to fill in the spaces. They're just there to, like in a movie, you know, you see background of people riding buses, driving cars, you know, at the subway, whatever it may be. They're just backdrop actors for you, if you will. You created everything you see in this outside physical world presented to give you an opportunity to observe the energetic frequency within you that's imprinted in your DNA memories, to give you the opportunity to 0 point it. Everything within you that has been experienced, every teaching, every experience, everything is all part of a 3D false matrix that has to be neutralized back to 0 points. Let me see what I missed here. We are puzzle workers collecting pieces of a greater puzzle. Absolutely. Michelle says, I know the pieces fit because I watched them fall away. Jax says, God loves jigsaw puzzles. We sure do, Jax. Let's see. Tammy says, yes, a puzzle, and what joy it has been putting all those little pieces together. It baffles people, yet I've been doing it. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, when you can really be present with the fact that you are the universe and the universe is in you, and be present with the fact that, again, that's why I encourage people, take the face off the body and put your face up there and observe what it's trying to be presented to you, because nobody comes into your presence to be evil to you. Nobody comes into your presence to be your enemy. Nobody comes into your physical observation to be Satan. Satan is a frequency. You are Satan just as much as you are God. So if you want to say God and Satan exist in the outside world, I encourage you to go within and find out where you're still holding that frequency, that energetic imprint. Contrast only exists within you. It does not exist in the outside world. The outside world is a direct reflection of the frequency and the energies you hold within you. And if you have an energy imprint in your cellular DNA that has not been cleared and 0 pointed back to, and harmonized and neutralized back to 0 point, you're going to observe it in the outside physical world. That it's just how it is. You are the universe and the universe is in you. If you don't like what you see, if you still see evilness, if you still see bad, that's giving you an opportunity to transcend it. Is there anybody else besides me out there? No. We're all you, sweetheart. We're all you. We're all just aspects. Now, it's also helpful to understand, sweet ones, that on that question, Mickey, is there anyone else besides me out there? It's really helpful to understand that everybody outside of you, whether they're a backdrop actor, if you will, or your seemingly enemy, every one of them is you from different frequencies, different dimensions. Now, whether it's an insect and an element from the first dimension, an animal from the second dimension, or an angel from the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th dimension, or a galactic being from the 144th dimension. Everything is you from a different dimension. Remember, the spiritual journey, sweet ones, right now, you being right here in this present moment right now, you are from the future. You have come back to witness your spiritual childhood. You have come back to neutralize and to harmonize all of your memories, all of your experiences over the course of 26,000 years and before that, through this whole entire 3D matrix dimensional grid. You've come back to 0 point. In other words, look at it like this. You're the first and you're the last. Just as we are here creating the new 5D Earth grid. You'll come back in 26,000 years, even though your children and grandchildren and your ancestors will continue to create things as you go along, if you will. You have, same with this process, this ascension cycle, you have literally come back to neutralize all of that karmic energy, all of that lifetime throughout, all of that ancestral DNA. And let's see, what frequency is physical pain from past cancer, and why is it still attached to my visceral self? I want to move on in health and higher vibration, but the pain pulls me back. Can you help shed some light into that? Into pain, into cancer. Anna Marie, any distortion, whether it be pain, whether it be disease, is directly tied into an unhealed emotional issue within. Just like with my lung cancer. Lung cancer ties directly into not standing in and living the truth of your spirit. And when you don't do that, and you do not heal those things, it will, the more it is held within, it will turn into a distortion, a disease, an illness, until you pay attention, until you observe and figure out where the emotional ties is. Now, let me give you an example. When I got lung cancer, I was not on my awakening journey. I was in a very deep space of being a victim. I've had a very challenging, if you will, life. And just as all of us have. And when I started my spiritual journey and I chose to go within and really started healing from within, I changed my diet, I took up yoga, I took up this and that, I did research into cannabinoids, and I took it upon myself to heal from within and to heal my vessel naturally. And the cancer went away. Then I put myself back into a lower frequency situation with my daughter. And within 1 month's time, the cancer came back. Now, when you can observe the choices we make, just like I chose to step back into that lower dimensional frequency with my daughter, knowing the possibility of what could happen, and it did happen. So now I was given an opportunity to observe it once again and to transcend it. Now, it's really helpful to understand the more that you heal those hurts, those memories, if you will, within, you will heal the disease and the pain and the distortion that you go through. Does that help you, Anna Marie? And when you can look at the pain and love the pain, communicate, you can tell your vessel, Anna Marie, you can tell the pain to go away. You can tell your vessel, I know you're feeling this pain. We know that it's just an energetic blockage. Let us transmute the pain. Your vessel, when you talk to your vessel and say you are healed, and you go within meditation and talk to your cells, communicate with your vessel will heal the physical vessel part of it as you heal the emotional and mental aspects within yourself. Does that answer your question, Anna Marie? Okay, let me see. Good morning, Mary. How you doing, beautiful? Stacy. Preach the 26th, honey, I don't preach. Preach the 26,000 year cycle in Sirius. Liken Sirius to be the energy of Venus. The morning star and the evening star. Sirius holds the Christ consciousness frequencies. And Sirius, that's Sirius is bathing us right now. Stacy, I'm not sure what you're asking me about the 26,000 year cycle. Let me say this. In every matrix grid, if you will, we'll take the 3D matrix. Moses, the Great Flood, the Ice Age, the Dinosaur Age, yada, yada, yada. In every grid, in every 3D matrix, you have a cube, if you will. It is built on a cube. So, if you look in every matrix grid, you have 4 26,200 year cycles that the Earth, the solar system, whatever you want to call it, goes through. So, if you look back through the memories of the 3D matrix grid, you have the matrix grid where it ended in the Great Flood. You have the one of the Ice Age, and in your religious texts speak of it, sweet ones. You know, just like Revelations says, you know, this time it's going to be purification by fire. Well, people look at that as actual flames. Well, the fire is coming, the light from the sun coming in. It's purifying everything that is not the highest frequency of love. And so, as we come into the end of an ascension cycle, that means we have completed the cube. We have gone through earth, air, wind, and fire. And I said that wrong. Earth, air, water, and fire, if you will. And so, every 26,200 years, we finish, if you will, a side of the cube. And when we come to the fourth one, which that's what we're ending right now of the 3D matrix grid, and thus why everything has to be zero-pointed. But it has to be zero-pointed, not just for one side of the 26,200 year cube, but all 4 of those sides, you have to neutralize back to 0 point. That's all the past life memories, that's all the teachings, that's all everything, because none of the memories of the 3D matrix, or the 4 sides of the cube, if you will, of each of those 4 26,000 year cycles. None of the memories, none of the teachings, none of it, period, can go onto the new grid. That's why everything has to be returned to 0 point. Harmonized and neutralized back to 0. because none of that, all of those things were created in a 3D matrix. And all of them are created from different frequencies, which none match the frequencies of the new cube, if you will, of the 5D grid that we are starting. So we will go through on the 5D grid, you will go through 4 26,000 year cycles. And at the end of those 4 26,000 year cycles, you will find you complete another grid. And then we will build, just like we are right now, we will build the 6th D grid. And then we'll go through 26,000 year cycles there. We'll complete it, and then we will build the 7D grid. That's how it works. It's always a spiral up, if you will. Did that answer your question, honey? All right, let me see what I missed here. Let me see here. Let's see. I'm trying to see here. I answered that one for her. Zadika says Satan is merely the opposer. We allowed ourselves to have adversary. Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe we were not nurtured to find the nurturer. Let's see. The dark side, Stacy says, the dark side and painful emotions are a learning tool to remind us we are pure source. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jack says, when we choose to experience, let me see if I can see what he's saying here. When we choose to experience separation, that's when putting the puzzle piece back together again began. When we did that, we became a fractal piece of God along with all the, yeah, absolutely, along with all the other gazillion fractal pieces. As we look at mirrored pieces of ourselves, it appears to look like pieces of a puzzle. We journey to keep finding other pieces until we discover and see an even bigger picture. Suddenly, I love you, Jax. I love how you say that. Suddenly, stadium lights go off in your mind, bringing one step closer and finding your way back to divine love. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good morning, Curtis. We were designed to self-heal. Remembering how is the key. Absolutely. All right. Kelly, honey, we are gems. I'm just... Sweet ones, I keep telling you I'm just your heart. I'm a reflection of your love, that I am a hologram. You created me to be in your space right now. I'm not outside of you, sweet ones. I am a reflection of your love that you hold within you, that you projected into this physical vessel, or seemingly physical vessel, because it's a hologram, truly. It really, truly is. All right. Please understand, I know what a prophet is. I'm grounded. Oh, honey, we're all prophets. We're the prophets to ourselves, Kelly. That's truly, we're the prophets to ourselves. Let's see. I always sit quiet, worth coffee. I love you, Kelly. I love you all. I really, truly do. So, really allow yourselves to let it go, sweet ones. That's why I encourage you. You don't need to do research. You don't need to participate in this outside physical world. You need to participate in the world in here and use the outside world as a tool to see and observe and pay attention to what you're observing. Because if you're still seeing good and evil, if you're still seeing something that you're not liking what you're seeing, go within here and say, okay, self. Okay, Gaia, because really Gaia is your inner child, sweet ones. It was just easier to tell. It's easier for the human aspect, the human mind, to believe it was your inner child that you're healing. But really, your inner child is Gaia. And so the more you go within and the more you heal those energetic imprints, that's how you're healing the earth. Because Gaia is your inner child. And when you have these hurts and pains, when you experiences and circumstances in the physical world, that is giving you an opportunity to observe just what it is within you as your inner child, as Gaia what you can heal. That's why we encourage you. Gaia, what can I do for you today? How may I be in service for you today? Because Gaia is God, sweet ones. Gaia is your heart, your breath. And your experiences here is your love, which is Gaia, which is your heart. Your love for the light, which is what so many people call Father. And it is your love for that light, which is your divine consort, which is your lover, which is your best friend, is the whole purpose of your journey, of your experience. And that is how you're raising the vibrational frequencies of Gaia. Because for the human aspect to understand, the human aspect can't understand that aspect of, well, Gaia is my inner child and that's what I'm hearing. And so you have been, part of your experience was to show you that Gaia was your inner child. That it was little Kelly and little Makey and little Rose and little Kimberly and little Jax that had to be healed. Because the human mind could comprehend that way, that description, much easier than it would comprehend. Okay, you have a little planet inside of you that you need to raise. You follow me? Does that make sense? Okay, what did I miss? Good and evil are perceptions. Absolutely. We're also on a fractal point. CERN destroyed the other universe. Yeah, that's outside of you, Curtis. I'm not even going to touch on that. That's all part of the illusion. The spirit word has shown me this is a dream. Everything in this outside world is an experience helping us to transcend, including CERN. It is what it is, what it is. I love you guys. I love you. I love you to tears. You don't need tears, beautiful. But so really allow yourself to flow in these energies and to release the cube, the matrix, the false matrix, sweet ones. You don't need those memories anymore. Because in the 5D grid that you are anchoring into from here, from your heart space, these light encoded filaments that are coming in, that's bathing through your body, that is bathing humanity. You come into that space of, you integrate these light frequencies as you're in that space of bliss. And then once you integrate it, then it seems like you have fallen back into the abyss, like you did something wrong. It's not that you did that. It's like now you are anchoring it into the new 5D grid. You're not anchoring it into the 3D grid, because the 3D grid is gone. It's just the memories that are left of it. We've closed the door. We've disconnected that matrix grid. And so that's why it's necessary. That's why we keep saying ground, 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 ground. Because you're grounding this into the new grid, the new earth grid. These higher frequency light encoded filaments, as they come integrate into your vessels, activate your light body. Then once you've activated your light body, now you're anchoring it into the earth. And so, let me see if I can show you this. See, the sun is just rising. But look here. Can you see Luna? There's nothing more can you see? There you can. Now you can. Nothing more magical than two lovers. One kissing one good morning, one kissing one good night, as they dance for a couple hours. Isn't that beautiful? And so that's why it's necessary to use the outside observation that you see of the outside world as a tool. Because all that you have ever known in the 3D matrix grid has to be let go, has to be harmonized, neutralized back to 0 point. And the more you neutralize it, the more you walk the middle path, the more there is no good and evil, bad, right and wrong, good or bad. It just is. Because love is accepting of all. Love don't see evil. Love don't see enemies. Love don't see thugs. Love don't see prostitutes. Love sees divinity and sovereignty in everything. Love finds the magic in every experience. Let's see. Zadaka says, joy to the world. I am the light of the world, the child within the kingdom of God, heaven within us now. Jack says, yes, we are spiritual construction workers building a new reality in a higher frequency. Absolutely, that's what we're doing. And as you allow yourselves to do that and allow the outside physical world to fall, to its meaning to you, if you will, fall away, to dissolve. Because the outside physical world has no meaning. It's a tool. The only meaning the outside physical world has is created from in here. And when you create from your heart space, when you create in the frequency of love, you create no evil. You create no demons. There is no frequency of Satan. There is only love. And that's why truth is as fluid as the emotional frame of mind you're in and the frequency you hold. Because the only absolute truth, sweethearts, is peace. 0 point. Everything begins at 0 and has to return to 0. The human aspect has been taught to believe that everything is from A to Z. Nothing is from A to Z. It's from A to Z to Z to A. It's from A to A. Always. You look at, take for example, if you were to start to count up to 10, what do you start with? You start with 1, right? Okay, now let's look at it another aspect, from another angle. If you are an accountant, if you do taxes, if you are a bank, what do you do at the end of the day before you can leave? Everything has to be zeroed out, right? Everything has to be taken back to 0. It has to be accounted for, right? So why do you count from 1 to 10? Why don't you start from 0? Do you see the contrast, sweet ones? The total sum of all is 1. The absolute, the actuality is 0. 0 point. You begin at 0 and you return to 0. And that's what your journey is all about. You started at 0, the beginning of the 3D matrix. And you worked your way all the way up through the 26 letters of the alphabet. You've worked your way through every number of the grid. And now you have to bring all those back to 0. Same with, and now that you're 0 pointing out the 3D matrix, you're beginning at 0 again. Should you allow yourself to begin at 0 again? The 5D grid begins at 0. And that's where you are returning to, is that 0 point, and that 0 point is found within your heart. And that is where you create from. And that is why all your experiences and everything you are going through is to show you an energetic space within yourself to 0 point it, so you can begin again at 0 point. What does 111 mean? 111, add it up, 3. 111 is a portal. It's a gateway. It's an opportunity for you to step through. It's a trinity, if you will. Just like 1111. 1111. You look at the Twin Towers, too. You look at everything. I mean, everything is a message. You know, 911 equals 11. Why do you think it was why it was 2 towers that went down instead of 1? The twins. The twins is balance and harmony. And they blew up the Twin Towers trying to create disharmony, which they did. 1-1. The twins. You know, side by side, masculine and feminine in total balance. Unity. Oneness. And if you... there is so much symbolism, Kelly, in 111. But look at it as a trinity. Look at it as the completion of a triangle, if you will. Oh my God, my husband died November 1. That's actually, he transcended. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful time too. My first husband's birthday was November 1st. I love you too, Zedeca. Anyway, sweet ones, I don't need to keep going on. You guys get the gist of it. Allow yourselves to let go of this 3D world. Allow yourself to let go of the concepts of good and bad, that there's evil out there, that Satan exists, because Satan only exists within your energetic imprint. Evil only exists within your energetic imprint. And when you can use the outside world as a tool, rather than to continue allowing you to be trapped in duality, contrast, and separation, you will find that when you can change it through here, because really the universe is you and you are the universe, and everybody in this world right now, each one of you is just an aspect of myself, just as I am an aspect of you. Curtis says it's so hard going through this transformation into crystalline DNA. It can seemingly seem hard, absolutely. To the physical aspect of us, it is hard. It's difficult. It's been challenging. It's been traumatic. It's been horrifying. Absolutely. Do I deny that? No, I do not. However, it doesn't have to dictate to us anymore, sweet ones. And the only way it does is if we allow it to. If we continue to see evil, to accept that there is good and bad in the world, that there is good and bad evil in the world. The only way it's going to affect us is if we choose to. If we choose to accept that, yes, the reality, what's real, what's authentic, what's genuine, is this physical world. Well, you can stay in a higher vibration all you want, Linda, but the fact is, what's real is there's evil, there's Satan, there's bad things occurring in the world. No, there's not. Those things are occurring in your perception, in your observation, because you choose to allow it to be. Period. And that's why I say I don't have to come down and be human. I just have to stay at 0 point in neutrality and harmony and walk the middle path. That's what walking the middle path is all about, sweet ones. It's not, sure, you can observe 5D on this side and you can observe 3D on this side, but you don't have to participate. You can just be. Just be. And what you observe, use it as a tool to transform it to this. On this side. On love. So, in every given breath, in every given moment, sweet ones, you're given that choice. That choice to continue to see good and evil, right and wrong, bad and good. Or you can choose to find the divinity in it, the sovereignty in it, the glory in it, the magic in it. I appreciate all of you. Kelly says he did transit and told me he went to China. I got a seal on forehead 2 days before he died. What with it? What with that? Explain to me what you mean exactly by a seal, Kelly. And the reason I say that is because what my spirit is showing me may not be what you're trying to convey to me, if you will. That seal may be something else to me than what it is to you, sweetheart. So explain to me what you mean by that seal. And what is with that? Well, what is with anything is you have been graced and you have been blessed. Now, to give it meaning, I would really go within and I would really connect with your spirit and I would ask your spirit to give you that clarity, beautiful. I truly, truly would. You know, there's no answer that is not within you, sweet ones, if you take the time to listen. But in these times, as we going up to this total reset, understand that you're going to have a lot of voices and a lot of beings come to you that's going to convince you that it's the divine talking to you, that it's your angels, that it's your team talking to you. And one way you can really discern is spirit will never come at you in a negative way. Spirit will never give you negative advice. Spirit will, your team, your angels, your guides will never encourage you to exist in duality, polarity, and contrast. So if you're feeling that the divine is coming to you and asking you to concentrate in it on good and bad, good and evil, yada yada, that Satan exists in the world, I would really encourage you to really be present with yourself, because Spirit isn't going to come at you like that. Spirit does not push you back into contrast, especially when you're on an awakening journey. Kelly says, like a stamp with ink, a picture of like a symbol. Okay, observe that symbol. Kelly, take yourself back into that space, beautiful, and observe that symbol, because you have been given a gift. You have been blessed. You have been graced. And that symbol, that seal, if you will, holds a key for you. And maybe at the time that you received it and didn't understand it, it was because you weren't ready to have that in your presence, to have that key unlock a door for you until now. So I would really sit with that, beautiful. I would really go within and really bring that symbol to you and really communicate with your vessel exactly the depth of symbolism and meaning within that symbol, beautiful. Came on my forehead, meal a day. I saw it like a lit diagram. Was there a divine burst of mission strength? Was it a seal of agreement Mike and I had in another life? Again, that symbol can represent many different things. For me, it represents one thing, and for you, it's going to represent another, sweet one. That is really something personal for you. And I would, again, Kelly, I would really encourage you to be present with it and communicate with your spirit on it. And find the exact meaning of it for you. Because for me, I can tell you what it means for me, honey. I can tell you what my spirit's saying it means. But that's my spirit. That don't mean that that's your truth, honey. That doesn't mean that that's what it's going to mean exactly for you. So again, honey, that is something that you really need to go within and be present in with yourself to get the correct, if you will, meaning for you. Does that make sense, Kelly? Well, honey, I don't want to influence you. What it means to me, I don't want to share that with you at this moment. I have no problem sharing it with you, Kelly. But at this moment, I do not want to share what my spirit has given me for this purpose. In no way, shape, or form do I want to influence you in any way. I really encourage you and desire for you to be true to you and not to be influenced by my spirit. And it's frustrating if it seems frustrating to you that I say that. Truly, I'm doing you a favor. I truly am, beautiful. You don't need my truth. You need your truth. And that is something that is very sacred to you that you have been given. And I would really encourage you to truly be present with it and receive the grace and blessing that you have been given through that. And that is all, that's all I really will say on that, Kelly. Go within on that, beautiful. You have been given a beautiful gift. A beautiful, beautiful gift. Okay, where am I at here? I think I got everything else. Oh wait, no, I missed what Jack said. We took our energy and built a 3D world of lower frequency. See it as having a huge pile of Legos and Jax, you are so right there with me. I just love you. See it as having a huge pile of Legos, and we took those Legos and built all kinds of stuff. Now the game is over. The Legos have been all taken apart. Time to clean up our mess and take our Lego pieces and build a new 5D reality. How cool is that? Let your inner child come out to play. Yeehaw, Jax. Yeehaw. Have you ever been to Legoland? That's what we're creating, sweet ones. It's just a puzzle. It's just a beautiful, beautiful puzzle. And on that note, I love you, sweet ones. I do. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. And I am so grateful that you have shown up, that you are being present, that you are here, and that you are transforming and transcending us side by side, hand in hand. We got this, you got this, and together we will leave the 3D and we will build that Legoland in 5D, and we'll enjoy every moment of it as we dance and we celebrate and we play and we be all that we are. Have a great day, sweet ones. I love you. Big, big, big hugs and blessings. Enjoy your weekend. Embrace Mercury retrograde and the energies that it's going to present for you. And really step back, sweet ones. Observe. Use these last 9 days going up to this total solar eclipse. This total reset that's going to propel you into your new realities that have been made available to you. And really stay in your hearts and let the 3D grid fall away. You are nothing and all but love, sweet ones. Love is. It's all the contrast, it's all the polarity, it's all the duality. And that is the glory of us. Because we experienced everything that love was not. So we could show the world everything love was and is. And so we could create a new world on just love and peace and joy and harmony. And that is what we are going into. And we are leaving behind the lower timelines, the lower frequencies, the duality, the contrast, and separation, if you allow yourself to leave it and to step out of it and to stop participating and engaging in it. So, allow yourselves to love, sweet ones. Love whatever is presented. Love whatever arises. And dance. Find the magic in dance, sweet ones. Because there is, in every contrast, every polarity, there is divinity, and there is magic, and there is love. Have a great weekend. Have a great Saturday. Bye-bye, sweet ones. I love you. Big, big hugs and blessings.